On July 4, 1969, Mike Mageau visited his friend Darlene Ferrin in Vallejo, California. They drove to a quiet parking lot near Blue Rock Springs Park to talk. As they sit in Darlene's car, another car pulls up behind them, stays for a moment, and drives away. Soon it returned and a man got out. He walks to their car, shines a flashlight in their faces, and starts shooting with a handgun. He fires multiple times, hitting Mike and Darlene. The man then walks back to his car and drives off. We noticed over 90% of our viewers enjoy our content but haven't subscribed yet. We know you want to, you just forget sometimes. As we dive into this intense thriller, let's change that. Like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling recaps. Mike survives but is badly hurt. Darlene dies from her injuries. Mike tells police the shooter was a white male, heavy-set, with short hair, about 5'8" tall, and in his 20s or 30s. His description is not very clear because the flashlight blinded him. Soon after the attack, a man calls the Vallejo police from a payphone, saying he did the shooting. He also says he killed 2 people at Lake Herman Road in December 1968. This call makes police think they are dealing with a serial killer. This attack is the first clear sign of the Zodiac Killer in the movie. It shows how dangerous and bold he is, attacking people in a quiet place. The police are confused because they have little information to find the killer. The public starts to feel scared, and the investigation begins with many questions. On July 31, 1969, the Zodiac sent letters to 3 newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald. Each letter claims he killed the people at Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs. The letters include details about the crimes, like the type of bullets used, that only the killer would know. The Zodiac demands the newspapers print his letters or he will kill more people. He also sends a code, called a cipher, split into 3 parts, and says it will reveal his name if solved. The cipher is signed with a cross inside a circle which becomes his symbol. The newspapers print the letters and the public gets scared and curious. People try to solve the cipher, and a school teacher and his wife figure out part of it. The message talks about why the Zodiac kills, but does not give his name. The letters make the Zodiac famous, and he seems to enjoy the attention. Police are frustrated because the letters give clues but no clear way to find him. This scene shows how the Zodiac plays games with the police and newspapers. His letters are cold and taunting, making him seem smart and in control. The movie makes it clear that the Zodiac wants everyone to notice him. The ciphers and symbol add mystery, and the scene sets up the idea that catching him will be hard. It also shows how the case starts to take over the lives of everyone involved, from police to reporters. Paul Avery is a crime reporter at the San Francisco Chronicle. He gets interested in the Zodiac case when the newspaper receives the killer's letters. Avery starts writing articles about the murders, describing the attacks and the Zodiac's messages. His stories make people more scared, but also curious about the killer. The public reads every word, and the Zodiac case becomes big news. Avery works hard, talking to police and looking at the letters for clues. As the Zodiac keeps sending letters, Avery's job gets more intense. He feels pressure to write stories that keep people interested. In 1970, the Zodiac sends a Halloween card to Avery, which feels like a threat. The card has strange drawings and words, making Avery worry about his safety. He starts to carry a gun, showing how much the case affects him. Avery wants to find out who the Zodiac is, but he mostly sticks to reporting, not chasing suspects himself. This scene shows how the Zodiac case pulls in people like Avery. His articles make the killer more famous, which is what the Zodiac wants. The movie uses Avery to show how the case changes the lives of reporters and how the media can make a criminal a big story. Avery's work helps the audience understand the case, but it also shows the stress of being so close to a dangerous killer. His role is important because he connects the police, the public, and the Zodiac's games. On September 27, 1969, the Zodiac attacked Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard at Lake Berryessa near Napa County. The couple is having a picnic by the lake when a man walks up to them. He wears a black hood with a white cross and circle symbol on it, like the one in his letters. He has a gun and tells them to stay quiet. He ties their hands with rope and says he only wants money. Then he pulls out a knife and stabs them many times. After the attack, he walks away calmly. Cecilia dies from her wounds, but Brian survives, even though he is badly hurt. He tells police what happened, saying the killer was calm and spoke in a steady voice. Brian describes the hood and the symbol, which makes police sure this is the same killer from Blue Rock Springs and Lake Herman Road. The Zodiac later calls police to report the attack, saying he left 2 people by the lake. He also writes a message on Brian's car door with a marker, claiming the crime. This scene is scary because it shows how bold the Zodiac is. He attacks in daylight and takes his time, not worried about being caught. The hood makes him look strange and frightening, like he is playing a role. Brian's story helps police connect the attacks, but they still cannot find the killer. The scene makes the audience feel the terror of the victims and the frustration of the police, who are always one step behind. On October 11, 1969, the Zodiac killed Paul Stine, a 29-year-old taxi driver in San Francisco's Presidio Heights. Paul picks up a passenger in the city and drives him to a quiet street. While Paul is still in the driver's seat, the man shoots him in the head with a gun. The killer gets out, tears a piece of Paul's shirt, and walks away. Some teenagers across the street see the man leaving. They describe him as a white male, stocky, with glasses, about 5'8" tall and in his 30s or 40s. Police arrive quickly, but the killer is gone. The witness's description is the best lead so far, but it is not enough to catch him. This murder is different because it happens in a city, not a quiet park, showing the Zodiac is not afraid to kill anywhere. The police search the area, but the killer slips away. The scene is tense because it feels like the Zodiac is always one move ahead, leaving police with little to work with. This scene shows how the Zodiac keeps changing his attacks, making it harder for police to predict what he will do next. Paul's death is sad because he was just doing his job. The witnesses give hope that the police might find the killer, but the movie shows how hard it is to solve the case. The torn shirt becomes important later, proving the Zodiac's role in the crime. The scene adds to the feeling that the killer is a ghost, always disappearing before anyone can stop him. Soon after Paul Stine's murder, the Zodiac sends a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle. The letter says he killed Paul and includes a piece of Paul's shirt stained with blood to prove it. The letter is mean and makes fun of the police for not catching him. The Zodiac says he enjoys killing and will keep doing it. He also talks about other crimes, making police wonder how many people he has hurt. The letter is signed with his cross and symbol, like always. The Chronicle staff and police are shocked by the shirt. It shows the Zodiac is not lying about the murder, and it makes them feel helpless. The letter gets printed and the public gets more scared. People start locking their doors and looking over their shoulders, afraid the Zodiac could strike again. The police work harder to find clues, but the letter does not give them enough to catch the killer. This scene shows how the Zodiac controls the story. By sending the shirt, he makes sure everyone knows he is real and dangerous. The movie uses this moment to show how the killer plays with the police and the public like a game. The letter's cruel words make the Zodiac seem like a monster who enjoys hurting people. The scene also shows how the case is getting bigger, with more people talking about the Zodiac and trying to guess who he is. It adds to the mystery and makes the audience feel the same frustration as the police. Robert Graysmith is a cartoonist at the San Francisco Chronicle. He gets interested in the Zodiac case when the killer's letters arrive at the newspaper. Robert reads every letter and cipher, trying to understand the killer. He starts spending all his time on the case, even at night. His wife Melanie worries because Robert is not home much and their family feels the strain. Robert does not stop, believing he can help find the Zodiac. Robert talks to Paul Avery about the case and they work together sometimes. Avery knows a lot about crime, but Robert is more excited and keeps looking for new clues. Robert studies the ciphers and crime reports, writing down everything he learns. He starts to think about suspects, especially a man named Arthur Lee Allen. Robert finds out Allen lives near some of the crime scenes and has a strange past, which makes him suspicious. This scene shows how the Zodiac case takes over Robert's life. He is not a police officer or reporter, but he acts like a detective. The movie makes Robert seem brave but also stubborn, ignoring his family to chase answers. His work with Avery shows how the case brings people together, even if they do not always agree. Police start looking at Arthur Lee Allen as a suspect in the Zodiac case. Allen is a man with a troubled past, including crimes against children. Detectives David Toschi and William Armstrong talk to him more than once. They ask about his life, where he was during the murders, and what he knows about the Zodiac. Allen is calm but acts strange, like he knows more than he says. He lives near some crime scenes and owns boots like the ones the killer might have worn, which makes police suspicious. In one interview, Allen talks about the Zodiac case in a way that feels too familiar. He says things that make the detectives think he could be the killer, but he denies everything. The police search his home, but they do not find strong evidence like a gun or the Zodiac's hood. The lack of proof frustrates the detectives, who feel Allen might be guilty but cannot arrest him. This scene is full of tension because Allen seems like he could be the Zodiac, but the police cannot be sure. The movie shows how hard it is to solve the case when clues do not add up. Allen's creepy behavior makes the audience wonder if he is the killer, but the lack of evidence keeps it a mystery. The scene also shows the police working hard, talking to many people, and checking every lead, even when it leads nowhere. It makes the Zodiac case feel like a puzzle with missing pieces. In the 1980s, Robert Graysmith is still trying to find the Zodiac. The police have stopped working on the case as much, but Robert cannot let it go. He believes Arthur Lee Allen is the killer and keeps looking into his life. Robert reads old police files and talks to people who knew Allen. He finds more reasons to think Allen is guilty, like his strange behavior and things he owned that match the Zodiac's crimes. One day, Robert goes to a hardware store where Allen works. He sees Allen and tries to talk to him. The moment is tense because Robert is nervous, and Alan seems to know why Robert is there. Robert asks a few questions, but Alan stays calm and says he is not the Zodiac. The talk is short, and Robert leaves without new answers. He feels like he was close to the truth, but he still cannot prove Alan is the killer. The scene keeps the Zodiac case open, with no clear end. It shows Robert's bravery and how the case has changed his life forever. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth recaps and reviews. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the hidden truths in every story.